I don't know if anyone's out there, but I'm just going to wait for a couple minutes and see if anyone else shows up on our call. So it's almost 7:30. I think it's 7:30 on the nose. And we'll just wait a few minutes and see if anyone joins us. It's starting to come through. Okay, yeah. Good. I have a lovely assistant here. My friend is here with me. Do you see, can you see if people are gathering? Yeah. I think it's 7:30 on the nose. And we'll just wait a few minutes and see if anyone joins us. It's starting to come through. Okay, yeah. Good. All right. We'll just wait another minute. If you are here, if you're tuning in, I'm going to put a little reminder, so I have to say it 10 times. Welcome. And first of all, go grab a pen and paper. And second of all, set aside all your distractions. So if you have your phone out or anything that's distracting you, set those aside so you can really pay attention to this presentation, because I have some wonderful things to teach you and to share with you. Oh, got this crazy piece of hair I'm going to try to get rid of. So make sure that you set aside any distractions and grab a pen and a paper would be fabulous. And Valerie, can you see if anyone's on? I don't know if it shows numbers. Still thinking. It's thinking still. Annetta says hello and have everything needed. She has everything? All right, good. All right, well, we must be, there we go. I don't know if it shows. There we go, we must be gone. On. Okay, so I'm gonna get started in just a minute. If you just joined us, I see, yep, and now I see we do have some viewers. I'm new to this Google Hangout. I know you're on my website, but I'm actually on Google Hangouts, but I wanted to make it easy in case you didn't have a Google account. So if you've just joined us, make sure that you grab a pen and paper. I have some things you're definitely going to be wanting to write down, and just put away any distractions, your cell phone, close any extra browsers on your computer, all that. And we'll get started. Let's see, I think it's 7:33, so I think that's probably safe to start. Welcome, everybody. I'm Shannon Elhart, the founder of Green Heart, and I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate you taking the time out in your night. Thankfully, or hopefully you've got the pen and paper. I'm just looking at my notes here quickly a minute. I'm guessing you're here for one of three reasons. You're either like me, around 40, mid-40s, I'm in my mid to later 40s, and you're in that typical midlife stage, and you're probably starting to think about how have you been living your life, and how do you want to live your life, and just thinking more purposefully, like how do I really want to take the rest of my life and live the rest of my life? That's very typical. If you're not that woman, you might be a woman who's around 40 or a different age. You could be in your 20s or your 60s, and maybe something has happened. It could be even something happy, some fun experience that made you start thinking more deeply about life. What is the purpose of life, and what is the purpose of my life? And again, just thinking more about how do I want to live the rest of my life? How have I been living that doesn't suit me, and how do I want to live the rest of my life? The third kind of woman who might be here is if you're one of those women who has just gone through a very difficult time in life, a dark night of the soul, or a valley, or maybe you're in the midst of one, like a divorce, a serious illness, a major loss, you're grieving a loss, or even a scary loss, like you lost your job, but something tough has happened in your life and you're starting to wonder, who am I now? And where do I go from here? So if you're one of those women, or even if you're just a woman who's saying, you know what, I just want to be happier. I just want to figure out how I can just be happier on a day-to-day basis. If these describe you in any way or any combination of them, you're in the right place. I've got you covered. I'm going to be teaching you a lot of great things. The purpose of tonight's event is to go over the 3 videos that I've been sending you, if you've been receiving them, from the free video series, The Secrets to Finding Happiness in Midlife Just for Women. So I've been sending out those videos. If you haven't watched them, don't worry about it. They're going to be available to watch until May 9, through May 9. And you can still watch tonight and gain a lot of information. So don't worry about that. The second reason tonight is I want to share a 4th way. The 3 videos taught you some ways to find happiness. I want to share with you a 4th way that's a little too hard to put into a video format. I need to describe it a little more. The 3rd reason or purpose for tonight's event is to show you how I can help you even more in a more powerful way to be a happier, confident, more fulfilled woman. And then the last part is, in that part, I'm going to have a special guest who's with me tonight in my house. Valerie is her name. I'm also going to share with you how you can win a year of free life coaching and another special perk that I'm offering until May 9. And then lastly, I'm just going to offer some time for Q&A. So I will answer all your questions. If you haven't noticed, down below, there is an area where you can type in questions. If you start typing in a question, you should be prompted to either type your question anonymously, which is simple, or you can start a free Chatango account. And if you want to do that, you can do that. But you can do it anonymously if you'd rather not open an account. So let's get started. I'm going to peek at my notes again. The first video I sent you, and let me make one more note. If you do come up with a question, please type it. I'm going to be answering all the questions at the end, but I will scroll through all those questions. So if you type it now, I will be looking for all those questions at the very end, just so we can keep things rolling along. So let's go through the videos that I've been sending for this free video series. And again, if you haven't watched them, don't worry about it. You're still going to learn a ton, and you can watch them later. But the first video was about 3 habits that you might not even be aware of that you do, and they steal your happiness. Now, the first 2 habits were how you think. And a lot of women think this way, just negatively thinking about yourself and also thinking negatively about other people and the world. So I want to share with you, and I gave you some great tips on the happy sheet, that the number 1 way to quit this habit, because it's all it is a habit. You were not born to think negatively. That is not innate. It is not natural. It is taught to us, and we are inundated with it as women. I mean, just think about when you walk through the grocery aisle to buy your groceries, and if you look at those magazines, you see negativity. You see judgment on women. You know, someone has cellulite on her legs or something ridiculous like that. We're just kind of surrounded with that. So it's easy to develop the habit of thinking negatively about yourself. The first thing you need to do is be aware. Be really aware of how you're thinking about yourself all the time. That might sound tedious, but it's not. As you start to do this and practice, it becomes easier. As you're thinking, I have 2 questions, and this is something I want you to write down. So hopefully you grabbed a pen and paper. If you just joined me, I asked everyone at the start to grab a pen and paper. I want you to write down 2 questions. The first one is, anytime you catch yourself thinking negatively, ask yourself, would I say this to my daughter? If you don't have a daughter, think of someone else. Would I say this to my sister or my best friend's daughter, or preferably a girl? If you have a son, that could work too, but I want you to really think about just how building up of women. Would I say this to my best friend, my mom, my sister, a woman in your life, preferably a younger woman who you really care about? And ask yourself, would I say this to her? Because chances are, if you look in the mirror and think negative things about yourself, that, I'm getting all these wrinkles, or God, I need to lose 10 pounds, or I always look tired or just negative thinking about yourself, or even I can't do this, I'm never going to succeed, I'm never going to find a truly loving relationship, I'll never make it in my career, all these negative thoughts that we think. And when you catch yourself, ask, would I say this to my daughter? And if you wouldn't say it to someone else who you care about, switch it around for yourself. Stop thinking those thoughts. Just stop thinking them. They do nothing for you. The second thing I want you to write down, and this is when you're thinking negatively about other people, because we're also trained to do this. I mean, again, you think about those magazine articles, you think about some of the like reality TV shows and things, how judgmental our world has become, how easily we pass judgment, make assumptions about others. If you find yourself doing that, just ask yourself, would I say this out loud? That's the second thing you can write down. Would I say this out loud, or would I say this to the person I'm judging? Now, this isn't to guilt trip you, it's just to get you to stop. Because even if you are thinking something negative, it's bringing negative energy into you, into your body, your mind, and your spirit. You're bringing that negativity. Have you ever heard that parable where there's a grandfather and he's talking to his grandson and he says, there's a battle going on inside you, two wolves. And there's the wolf who's angry and bitter and, full of revenge. And then there's the wolf that's full of love and kindness and forgiveness. And the little boy asks, well, who wins, Grandpa? And he said, the wolf that you feed. It's very much like that. So if you can catch yourself in the negative thinking and learn to stop it, you are going to be so much happier. So write down those two questions. Would I say this to my daughter? Would I say this out loud? From that same video, I also talked to you about that we put our happiness outside of ourselves because we want people to be a certain way, and we have this expectation. And then when we think our happiness will only come when someone is doing what we want them to do, that makes it a lot harder for us to be happy. I want to give you an example, because what's important with this is that you learn to use your voice with kindness and with loving respect, but with saying what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're needing, and then let it go. So I'm going to give you a really quick example. My son just started baseball again for the spring, and my mom generally goes to the games, but something has changed in her life in the last year, and she's very busy on Monday and Wednesday nights when my son has his games. And so she told me that she was busy on those nights, and she hasn't made it to any games yet. And so I said to her, I really prefer for you to go to at least some games. It means a lot to my son, her grandson. My son, his name is Mac. It means a lot to Mac. If there's any way you could change one of those obligations, like the Monday night one, just for the couple of months of baseball so you could make some of the games, I think that would be great. And then I let it go. If I wanted to, I could spend the next 2 months getting really upset if she doesn't make it to enough games that I think enough games. I might have an idea of what's enough every game, 80%. So I can drive myself crazy and I can get all mad and I can put my happiness relying on my mom's decisions, or I can just voice my thoughts and let it go. So if you want to write anything down, write down, use my voice, let it go. Because that way you're not putting your happiness in the hands of someone else and what their decisions are. All right, let's move on to that second video. The second video, and again, if you haven't watched it, you can watch it later. It's going to be up until May 9, was all about the 5 layers of happiness. So the 5 layers, and the farthest one away was the most fleeting happiness. That's the happiness that doesn't stick around as long. And that was the black heels. That's when we get happiness from things. The next layer in was when we get happiness from, I got to look here, special recognition. So when we're getting a compliment, or even getting a big award, or even getting our PhD, which is great, but that happiness we're getting is so outside of us that it doesn't last real long either. It's more fleeting. The third layer, getting a little bit closer to who we are, to really connecting with us, was the special friend. And that's when we get happiness from being with the people who mean the most to us. The second layer was the crashing wave. And that's when we get happiness from being present, from being in this moment, wherever you are, rather than worrying about the future or thinking about the past, just being present. The first layer, the closest one to you, is that genuine choice or decision to just say, I'm going to be happy. And then even though that might sound difficult, it is possible. The more you practice just being happy, even if it's a rainy day or even if something's happening that you don't enjoy and you say, I can still be happy in this. Maybe my life isn't exactly the way I want it, but I can still choose to be happy. That's the kind of happiness that's going to stick around longer. So my tip for you with this is try to simplify your life. Get rid of the fifth layer of happiness. Not entirely. I love my new black shoes. I love all the fun things that I get, but try to not rely so much on stuff bringing you happiness. And try not to rely so much on people complimenting you. So if someone compliments you, say thank you, but then realize, even in your mind, say, you know what, even without the compliments, even without the recognition, I'm good enough, because you are. You are wonderful just the way you are. Really rely on layer 3, 2, and 1. I want you to try every day to have some happiness come from being with the people who mean the most from you, or the people who mean the most to you. And then try to get some happiness from being present, maybe doing a mindfulness practice, like just when you take your dog for a walk or do the dishes or take a shower, that you're just present right there, then and there. You're not thinking about other things. And then try every day to find some happiness just by choosing it. Like I said, even if you really wanted a sunny day and it's raining, just say, I can still choose to be happy. It doesn't have to be exactly the way I expected it. What I'd like you to write down on your pad of paper right now to remind you of this is, if you've kept a gratitude journal, try a happiness journal, even if just for a few weeks, to get you in the habit. And every night, write down 3 things. Write down how you found some happiness from being with people who you care about, how you found some happiness that day with just being present. So you're doing something purposefully where you're simply being present in that moment, doing one thing. And then write down how you found happiness just by choosing it. So even if at the end of the day, you can just write down 3 quick thoughts and make that a habit, that every day you're practicing those 3 layers of happiness. Being with people who mean the most to you, being present in your life, and choosing it, just simply choosing it. Let's move on to the 3rd video I sent you, and that was all about the simplest way to find happiness. That way, and again, if you haven't watched it, they'll be available through May 9. The simplest way to find happiness is just to stop. When you're feeling unhappy or angry or jealous or scared, stop, just be and breathe. At the end of that video, I walked you through a 3-minute practice of breathing where you just simply pay attention to your breath and slow it down. Continue to practice that. I have another resource I'll share with you in just a minute, but continue to practice that breathing all the time. Just slow down your breathing. It's so healthy for you. And it's in those moments of stress or unhappiness that we get so tight. Our mind starts running, our body gets tight, our breathing is more shallow and it's more quick. And when we can slow that down, that makes room for us to really choose happiness, to find a different perspective. Let's see if I'm missing something. Again, you can practice that mindfulness of being present and practice the breathing. What I want you to write down for this one on your notepad is, if you go to my blog, so you can just write down Shannon's blog, and then write down 357. 357 is one of my favorite breathing techniques, and I have a video that teaches how to do it. It's kind of an old video, but it's a good way to learn it. And all that does is it just slows down. You start breathing, inhaling for the count of 3, and then you end up inhaling for the count of 5 and the count of 7. So it really slows it down. Make sure that you honor your body. If 7 is too deep, just stick with 5. But watch that video if you would like to learn another breathing technique. It's just free on my website on the blog. All right? Let's move on to the 4th way of finding happiness. There was not a video about this because this is much deeper work, but it also is so much more powerful. I've worked with many women on this, and they've had so much happiness, just their life just open up, including myself when I learned how to do this. So here's the thing. I have never known a woman who doesn't have something from her past that causes her some negative aspects of her life, like a lack of happiness or a lack of confidence, that she doesn't feel like she can succeed in life and really have fulfillment in her life. And these things are generally they're from before you were 18. And they can be something as subtle, they're usually in your subconscious, so you're not really aware of them. The most important thing is that you start to be aware, and these are the things I want you to start being aware of. Look for your patterns. I'll give you an example. Recently, I just became aware of one of my patterns. I became aware that I guilt myself really easily, too easily. So if something goes wrong, or if I do something that I feel has a negative impact on someone, I am really, really hard on myself, far too hard on myself. And in 1 week's time, I noticed that I did that like 4 or 5 times. And I think it was God or the universe like giving me these lessons to say, hey, pay attention. So I saw that pattern, and now I'm more aware of it. So now when I start going into that, oh my gosh, I'm such a bad person because, God forbid I made a mistake, right? And I'm guilting myself. I stop, and I'm gentler with myself. Now, when I've worked with women on this, we go back, way back into like early childhood. Even sometimes you can go even in utero and find these things where you have some, what I call them, our deep life limiting beliefs. And it might be probably the most prominent one I've found with women is that I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to have a great, fabulous career, or I'm not worthy to have a wonderful love relationship, or to have financial abundance, or to have a really healthy, strong body. That comes from all sorts of different circumstances. It might come from something from your upbringing, from your parents, from an experience at school. Now, it's really important that we don't go into victimhood and blaming, not poor me, something happened and it's someone's fault. That doesn't help us at all. I don't know where my issue with guilt came, but I just need to face that, I'm feeling that guilt and figure out how I can move out of it. So a note for you is just to be really aware. What are your patterns? Do you have some emotions that you try to avoid that you think are bad? Do you have a negative belief that stops you from really moving forward toward the dreams in your life that you want to achieve? So if you can find those patterns, you can start releasing them. All right, I'm going to move on to the third part of the purpose in tonight's live event, and that's to tell you how I can help you in a much bigger way. So I like metaphors. I enjoy imagery. So I want you to imagine that there are 2 islands that you can live on. So the first island is the island of pain or unhappiness. This is where you have thoughts like, I'm not good enough, and I'm not going to be able to work toward my dreams, or maybe you don't even know what your dreams and goals are anymore. And you've been so busy in other roles in your life, being a mom or a wife or a partner or an employee or a daughter, and you don't even really know who you are anymore. And it just seems like you're rushing and going from one thing or another, and you look in the mirror and you think, I don't even like what I see or who I see, or maybe I don't even know who that woman is anymore. And that's the pain island and the unhappy island. That's the place where if you're on this live event and you've been listening to some of the things I'm sharing, you're probably thinking, yeah, I don't want to be there anymore. And I don't blame you. You're ready to move on to the other island, which is the pleasure island, the island that's more happiness. That's the island where it's like, yeah, I like my life and I love who I am and I feel good about who I am. And I deserve these things. I deserve to have a career I love and relationships I love, and authentic relationships that are honest and meaningful and authentic. And I want the career or the life that I want. And maybe I haven't been living the way I really want to, but from now on, I want to live the life I really dream of. I want the rest of my life to be awesome, to be really wonderful. I want to look in the mirror and say, I love me, even if my jeans are tight around my waist, or even if I'm getting the wrinkles in the crow feet or whatever. I just want to love myself. That's the pleasure island. When we get there as a woman, we're so empowered, and it's such a wonderful place to be. So you've got pain island and you've got the pleasure island. Now, I lived at the Pain Island for a very long time. And it was probably it was the age of 31 where I went through a very traumatic circumstance where my second child passed away shortly after he was born. He had a terminal condition called Potter syndrome. And that incident obviously shook me to my core, and it started me thinking. So I wasn't the typical midlife age, but the way I think of midlife is at that middle point where women think, how have I been living? And maybe I don't want to live that way anymore, at least not entirely that way. And I want to live a new way. I feel like that's midlife, and that can happen in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, even your 50s and 60s. That happened for me at 31, and it happened when Jonathan died. And so I decided, I was on Pain Island and I wanted to get to Pleasure Island. I knew what I wanted. I knew I didn't want to feel the way I was feeling anymore. Well, there's that water in between, right? And so I was willing to jump on that boat. We're going to continue with this metaphor. I was willing to jump on that boat and go from Pain Island to Pleasure Island. But I got to tell you, it was not a smooth ride. I had holes in my boat. I had leaks. I had the winds turning on me. And there were times I fell flat out of the boat and was, dog paddling to try to get back into it. And that's because I didn't really have any support system. I didn't have a crew to help me anytime I needed some assistance. I didn't have any idea. I didn't have a map. I didn't have any idea really how to get to that island. So my midlife journey, which is what I call that time when a woman goes from how I used to live to how I really want to live and how I deserve to live with that confidence and that happiness and authenticity, that midlife journey for me was way too long, and it was so hard. I had a therapist, I had a life coach, I did energy work, I read a library worth of self-help books, I journaled, I cried, like I said, fell out of that boat a few times. It was very lonely. And when I finally got to the Pleasure Island, which was probably just into my 40s, I was like, this is awesome. I never knew I could really love who I am and believe in myself and just be happy. Because until my early 40s, I think I was just going through the motions of life and trying to be a good girl and trying to be everything everyone expected of me and trying to be the daughter my mom wanted and the sister my sisters wanted and the woman my husband at the time wanted. And I had really no idea who Shannon was. So when I got to that Pleasure Island, I was determined to find a way to make that boat ride, that trip from Pain Island to Pleasure Island, fun and easier and not so lonely. And so that's where I feel like I've just been guided through my life to do this, because my education, I am a teacher, I have a master's degree in counseling, I'm a life coach, and all just kind of came together. What I created is this way for other women to journey is called the Happiness of You program. I'm going to peek at my notes just a second. I did this because, as you probably know, there's no magic pill. There's no simple way from Pain Island to Pleasure Island. It takes work. It's not just going to happen overnight, but it also doesn't have to take as long as it did for me or be as lonely as it was for me. So I created a program and I started working with women here where I live in Michigan. And I realized that I could help so many more women by creating this and making it a virtual program. And making that trip, that boat ride, that metaphor I'm going to use, so much more fun and pleasurable. Now, keep in mind, you have a lot of good reasons. If you're one of those women like I used to be, who doesn't feel good about yourself, who doesn't feel happy every day and confident and ready to live the life you want to live, there's a lot of good reasons why you feel that way. I mean, all of our upbringings bring us pain and things that we need to work through, but there's also society, it's our media. I mean, women are bombarded with being told we're not good enough in so many ways. So, I mean, you've been trained to be in a place where you maybe doubt yourself more than doubt yourself at all. You don't need to doubt yourself at all. And we've really been trained to do that. The good part about that is because you learned all the negative stuff, you can unlearn it. And that's what I love helping women do. So Let me make sure don't want to miss anything here. So I created this program. It's called The Happiness of You. And I want to tell you a little bit about how it works, because it takes women in that middle life journey, whether they're in their 20s, their 60s, or in the typical 40s, and takes them from where they used to live to how they really want to live. It's a 12-week program, and it's virtual, so women can join from anywhere in the world. I've had women, I've worked with women all over the country with this, all over the United States, but anywhere in the world, because it's virtual and it's on a membership site. So it's actually, you go to a website and put in a username and a password, and that's where you get all the materials. It's also a lifetime membership. So once you become a member of The Happiness of You, you are always a member. And that was really important to me, because I know life happens. And so even though in the program I teach you tons of tools and you learn so many skills that you can use forever, I know things are going to happen in life. You're going to get into some bumps and some tough times. And I want you to be able to go back to the membership site and look up and redo things and refresh yourself on these skills that keep women happy and confident and fulfilled in life. So it's a lifetime membership. There's a sisterhood of women. So there's a common space on a Facebook page that women connect, but there's also these community calls that I'll share more about. But I really help to get women connected. So you have a sisterhood all over the world of women who will support you and encourage you. There are, as I said, 12 weeks, but there's 12 lessons that involve video lessons and audio programs. There's audio programs on meditation, on compassion, things that you can download and keep forever. There are happy sheets, which are PDFs that I teach you things, teach you different things using these PDFs or these happy sheets, and a bunch of other resources. There's interviews with some other women thought leaders. There are some other programs, some bonus things, some bonus videos, all sorts of wonderful things for you. What I do is I give them to you in bite-sized chunks. So once a week, you get an email from me that tells you what's coming up. This is what we're going to be working on. And then you just start working through it at your own pace each week. So you go to the membership site and you work through that. One of my favorite things is the community calls. So almost once a week. So there are 10 different calls where I do group coaching. There are timeless teaching calls where I teach you what I feel are some timeless skills. There are things about how do you handle your emotions in an effective way? How do you really connect with yourself in a deep, meaningful, authentic way? So I teach you these things called timeless teaching that will change the rest of your life. They are truly timeless. I also have what I call freedom calls. Those are more interactive, where everyone gets on the call, and I'm teaching you some major shifts in your perspective and major shifts in how you think that will give you so much freedom. I can't even explain it, but I guarantee on every one of those freedom calls, you're going to get off the phone and go, holy cow. Wow, you're going to have an epiphany, and you're going to feel a whole sense of freedom from something that's been going on for you that's holding you back from really being the happy, confident woman you deserve to be. The other call that I give is called Lift Your Limits. And that's a live call for that I have on my website that's worth $500 when I do it individually with a one-on-one. When I do it just with one woman, it's $500. This is all about those deep life-limiting beliefs I was talking about earlier. This is where I will show you how to get at what are those beliefs that go back from your childhood that you're still holding on to, but they're in your subconscious. You're not even aware they're there. And then I teach you how to get rid of them, how to accept it, how to work with that belief so that it no longer holds you back. It's an amazing process. And women have just been in awe of how much they can let go of the gunk that's holding them back. You also get individual coaching with me. So there's just one-on-one. We do it over Skype or over the telephone. So we do some one-on-one coaching. And then there's something called, I love this, it's called the B-Box. And I actually send that to your home. You get it on your doorstep. And it's probably one of my favorite things. And it's just full of some really great surprises. I don't want to give anything away, but it's awesome. And that's just filled with things that I want you to continue to use to support yourself for the rest of your life. So that's called the B-Box. And then the last thing I want to tell you is that there are 3 levels to the happiness of you. I want to make it suitable to whatever your needs are. So the one level is just self-study. So that's when you get, if you buy that level, you get it all at once and you just do the whole 12-week program at your own pace. You could do it in 2 weeks or you could do it slowly over a year. Again, you've got lifelong access, so you can keep coming back and you just do it at your own pace. The second level, which is the most popular one, that involves, the first level doesn't have that interaction with me and that coaching. That's really working on your own. The middle level has some individual coaching, and a lot of the group coaching. You get the bonuses, you get the interviews with some other women, you get a meditation library, a lot of bonuses with that middle one. With the third level, you get everything that's at all possible with Happiness of You, but there's a lot of individual coaching. There are, I believe there are 10 sessions. So we do a pre-session where I sit down with you and we really think, what do you want to get out of this program? And how can you really get it? And then I meet with you twice a month throughout the 3 months. And then I meet with you for 3 months after the program's done. And we do a whole plan to keep you on track. So that one's the really independent individual work. You're still in with the group, but you and I are connecting on a really personal basis. So those are the 3 levels, and they're all lifetime access. If you even want to bump up from the first level to the second level, you just need to pay the difference, not a penny more. And again, lifelong access. You can come back over and over and over if you want to. I like to think of this Happiness of You program I've created as like an entire library of self-help books that you don't have to read. I'm just going to tell you exactly how to apply them to your life, and I'm going to give you all the supplies, everything you need to do. And it's fun, and you get this great group of supportive women. So in a moment, I'm going to ask Valerie to come over, and then I'm going to start answering some questions after Valerie shares with you a bit. Valerie is a graduate of the Happiness of You program, and she happens to live in my town. But I want to tell you about the specials. Just until May 2nd, so that's just until Saturday night at midnight, I am going to be offering you, if you join one of the second or third level, not the first level, but if you join at the second or third level, your name will automatically be put into a drawing, and I'm going to draw one name. I might be drawing 2, but I'm going to draw at least one name, and that woman will win a full year of life coaching. That does not take place of the coaching you're already getting. Like, we can start the year whenever you want. We can start it at the very beginning of the program, or we can start it at the very end of the program, but you'll have 12 months of coaching with me one-on-one. That's worth almost $2,700. So I'm going to give that to somebody, just to someone who joins before May 2nd at midnight. So just know that I'm going to be checking dates, and that's how I'll pick a name. The other thing I'm offering, and this is good through May 9. So tonight is officially the night when you can join, and I'll tell you how to do that in just a minute. But until May 9, that's when the cart closes. So May 9 at midnight is when I'm going to close the door, and just the women who are in for this next round of the Happiness of You. But until May 9, you can, if you want to, ask a friend to join you at 50% the fee. So that can save anywhere from $400 to $800. And this is how it works. Let's say Sarah joins Happiness of You. And this is just for the second and third level. So she joins. I will send you an email. You'll get an automatic email, actually, that will tell you how you can invite a friend. So let's say Sarah wants to invite Beth. So she can say, hey, Beth, you can join too at 50%. Then you can take that savings, if it's $800, and you can split it between the two of you. So you each save $400. Or you can give it all to Beth. Maybe Beth's just gone through a hard time and she doesn't have the income for it right now, but you'd have it, so you can give it to her. But that's good through May 9. So that is not going away. The win a year of free life coaching, that is only good for the women who, or that is only going to be offered to the women who join before midnight on May 2nd. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you, I wrote down the website. You're going to want to write it down too, that you can go to in order to join if you do want to join Happiness of You. So hopefully you can see that. It's just my website, www.greenheartmindfulness.com. And then you just put in a / right here, Happiness of You. So, and I'm going to be sending this in an email, but just in case you're watching it online, and I'll put a link in this replay, but it's greenheartmindfulness.com/happiness-of-you. So if you go to that, you're going to see a sales page, and there's tons of information. Everything I've shared tonight, except for the information about the video series, but everything about what's included in the program, what are the 3 levels, all that information, what exactly do you get, and all of that. So please go there and check out all that information. If you join before midnight, May 2, your name will be in the drawing for a free year of life coaching. If you join before May 9 at midnight, then you are offered to invite a friend for 50% savings. And like I said, you can split that between the 2 of you, or you can keep it yourself, or you can give it to her. I'll let you figure that out. But you'll get an email that tells you exactly how to do that. So Valerie has joined me. So you can welcome Valerie. Hey, Valerie.
Hi, Shannon.
Thanks for coming over.
Oh, no problem.
So Valerie is a graduate of the Happiness of You program.
Don't I look happy?
She is really happy. We have a great history. In fact, there's another interview that I have on that page that I sent you to, the greenheartmindfulness.com/happiness-of-you, happiness-of-you. And you can learn more about Valerie in that. But I wanted to ask Valerie to share a couple of things tonight on this live call, and I appreciate you coming over.
My pleasure.
So the first thing, what were your favorite things about the Happiness of You program?
I think that the first most important thing that I got out of it was the importance of meditation.
Meditation.
Mm-hmm. So it has changed my life. And then the community calls were amazing. We made connections with women that we couldn't see, but they were very supportive. I mean, I went through some very personal experiences during the meditation and during the program itself, and I was able to share it without feeling embarrassed. I felt very safe and supported, so that made a big difference.
I'm so glad. And I remember that you brought up some things, and there were a couple other women who brought up some pretty big things, and
yes.
I loved that they had that support. And you're right about the meditation.
So key.
Yeah, that has saved my life. If a woman is thinking about doing Happiness of You now, or thinking maybe I'll do it later, why do you think she should do it now?
Who doesn't want to be happy right now? When I came across Happiness of You program, I live on a limited budget, but I made some concessions, like stop maybe doing my hair as much, or having my nails done, because I felt like investing in my emotional self and my unhappy self was even more important than all of the outward appearance.
Absolutely. I know, I see that too. As women, we invest in so many things that don't really bring us joy, at least not that lasting joy. And to invest in ourselves and really know who we are and to love who we are. I mean, I remember when I started realizing I love me. I love Shannon. I can look in the mirror. In fact, the first time I looked in the mirror, I learned this from Louise Hay, summer of 2007. I looked in the mirror really close, and I was trying to look in my eyes and say, I love you, Shannon. Couldn't do it. I would look away. I couldn't do it. And now I'm like,
bawling.
Yes.
Yeah, I just started crying.
I really didn't like myself. And now I'm like, I love me. Do I make mistakes? Do I do things maybe I regret or whatever like that? But I love who I am. And it's so nice.
And I just started loving me now. I'm 51. So the sooner you start this program, if you don't love yourself, oh my goodness. And Shannon talks about a shift happening in the middle of the program through meditative journey and through the work, and you'll feel a shift. Trust me.
I'm so glad. It's an awesome shift.
It's amazing.
I am so glad I've gone through all this work, and I'm so glad I've made it easy for you, because it was a long road. And I can't believe you're 51. I forget that. You do not look 51. Okay. Why will Happiness of You help women of any age? Because I know I talk about midlife, but of course I think about midlife differently. I think of it as that division. Why would it help someone in their 20s or their 60s?
Right. Because all of the areas in your program are for everyone, are for all women. There's never a time when we don't want to be happy and we don't want to love ourselves. there isn't. If I could have had this program in my 20s, it certainly would have saved me
Oh my
a lot
gosh,
of
yes.
heartache.
Oh my gosh, yes. In fact, I can't believe that I didn't say this before, but the whole program is built on something I created called the 4 elements of happiness. Like, how did I leave this out? So the whole program's built on this, which I'm trademarking and everything, called the 4 elements of happiness. And those are connection, really connecting deeply with you and with something greater. And that's a personal part of your journey, but connection. The second part is compassion, really being compassionate, learning how to be compassionate with other people, and then finding that you're more compassionate with yourself. So no more of that cruelty to yourself. The self-kindness and the self-love just explodes. And then it's appreciation, really being appreciative and grateful for your life. And I call it transformational gratitude. I actually wrote a book about it, and you'll get a copy of that book. And it's about how to use gratitude to really transform your life and heal your life. And the last part of the 4 components, the 4th element, is self-kindness, and really learning how to be kind to yourself, because we are not taught that.
That is for sure.
Oh God, no, it's terrible out there. So Valerie, is there anything else you want to share? Otherwise, I'll start looking at these questions.
Well, Shannon mentioned that she is giving away a year of life coaching, and she put a price tag on it. But I'm going to tell you that it's priceless. Have you seen the commercial? It's priceless. She brought me out of 40 years of darkness, and so yeah, work with her. It's miraculous.
Thank you. I have to give you a hug. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
I really love you. It is. I love how I work. I'm very, you know that. I'm very action oriented. It's like, let's just figure out what we're going to do differently, and let's do it, and let's be optimistic and love ourselves. And so it's just creating positive change is how I work. So that year of coaching, I do think it's, if you really want to transform your life. So I'm going to, if you, I know you've got a beautiful daughter to head home. So if you want to take off, I understand. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I'll give you a call. But thanks a lot. All right, I'm going to look at the questions here and see if oh boy, this is small on my little iPad. Good Lord. Good. Shelly, I'm here. I can't see any of you. I saw that question. I'm trying this Google Hangout for the first time, and I can't see you. It's really odd. So I'm talking to me, and it's kind of uncomfortable. I'm here too. I can't wait. Yay. Oh, someone lost audio. Oh, someone, Beck said she missed the first 15 minutes. I'm going to be sending a recording. So don't worry if you missed it. I'm going to send a recording. I love this. As a Michigander myself, I love the analogy of the water in the boat. I do too. And you saw my website, I'm sure. I mean, it's the whole beach thing, because that's my favorite place. When I'm sad, got to go to the beach. If I have to miss a community call due to scheduling conflicts, will I just miss out, or do you have multiple calls? I send recordings, and on some of them, like the Lift Your Limits is so important, I have multiple calls for that, and you can join them forever. So if you miss it and like 3 years passes and you're like, God, I really need an update on how to deal with my emotions, because that's a big one for me. I teach how to do that with Sanity. Then you can just jump on that call. I mean, you're always going to have access to it. But I do have multiple calls, and I do have recordings. And then you have access to me. I mean, ask me questions, send me emails, jump on the Facebook page to ask questions. And other women will answer them as well. It's just a great group of women. Do I have payment plans? I do. I have either pay in full or pay in 3 payments. And then I see, thank you. You're welcome. I do have a couple questions that other people have asked. I thought, and if you have another question, please just type it in there. Did I lose that list? Does it really work? I like that one. Yes, it does. Here's something about my coaching. Anything I teach you, I have done and I do. I practice. So I don't know if you're a Brene Brown fan. I am. I really like Brene Brown. And if she was going to give someone like a golden star for vulnerability, it's me, because I actually, if you don't know this about me, I actually stand on stage once in a while and I do a monologue that I call Fierce. And I share three of my major struggles in life. So I mentioned to you when my son Jonathan died, that was clearly very difficult. I also really struggled with addiction. I was very reliant on alcohol, and that's my whole journey, and I won't bore you with the details, but I get up on stage and talk about how I overcame that, and so grateful. And the other thing that I talk about on stage is when I was 18, I was raped, and I talk about not that incident so much as how I healed, how I was able to get through that, find forgiveness, and leave it in the past. Because for 20 years, that experience horrified me. It ruined a lot of aspects of my life. So does this work? Yes. I would be the poster child of a woman who had pretty much no self-esteem. And the thing is, I could play the part, I could put on the makeup and the clothes, and everyone thought it was fine. I was really lost. So again, everything I do, whether it's in the happiness of you or I ever work with you one-on-one, everything I teach you, I do and I practice, and it's brought me out of my own darkness. Another question, what if I fall behind on lessons? This is what's so great. I actually had some business mentors say, you shouldn't make this lifelong. And I was like, I'm making it lifelong. It's a lifelong membership because I wanted to create a resource that you can go to forever. And I'm constantly adding to it because I'm a nerd and I read self-help books all the time. Right now I'm listening to one by Marianne Williamson, and I also do Audible. I listen to them. I just went through Gay Hendricks' book, Take the Leap. Amazing. And so I'm always going to be putting together more stuff to share with you. And I'm a teacher at heart. I'm awesome at writing curricula. So I take what I learn and I put it in a format that you can do more easily. So I'm always going to be updating this. So if you do fall behind, you can start working at your own pace. You can wait until another group starts and join another group of women. You're just always going to have access to it. So you really can't fall behind. I had one member that had a tragic death in the family and was really struggling and just said, I got to just stop. And I'm like, absolutely. Just join with the next group of women, because with every group of women, we just get more wonderfulness. Another question, I'm just watching, see if you type any more in. How can I really connect when we don't meet in person? This was a big concern for a lot of women as well. And the response is unanimous. In fact, there's one woman who lives in a different state, and she said, I really was concerned about this. And then she said, oh my God, I love it. I feel so connected with these women. And that's where I encourage people to get on that Facebook page and interact. If you're not in Facebook, I have some solutions for you, but get on the phone calls, ask questions. I mean, there were times that we would get on a community call and it would be about 10 minutes in where I would say, okay, ladies, we need to stop and I need to get busy with the teaching, because it would be like, oh yeah, I had this happen. And then one woman would be like, oh my God, me too. And I'm reading this fabulous book, and I'm like, all the energy. So I will be in the future offering in-person retreats. That's definitely on a goal coming up soon, and would love to meet you. But you will connect with these women in such wonderful ways. What is the site like? Someone has asked me that. The site, believe it or not, has a little bit of beachiness to it. So at the top, when you log in, there's a page that has a scene from a beach near my house. I live right near Lake Michigan. I'm so, so grateful. And so you log in with the username and your password, and that's just kind of a beach scene. And then when you're on the page, I tried to make it real simple. I didn't want a lot of pictures and things to distract you. So there's a little bit of a beach scene at the top, and then there's little boxes that show each of the things. So there's always, in each lesson for every week, there's a video. In week 1, there are 2 videos, and I will tell you that they're longer. Otherwise, the videos are normally, I'd say, 7 minutes to 12 minutes. In those first week, they're a little bit longer. I think there's even one that's 4 minutes. But the teaching videos are right there in the week. And then below that, there are the happy sheets. There's this audio program. There's a 28-day guided meditation program to really get you meditating. We talk about other things like prayer. And this is really for any religion or faith or non-religion. It's for you. You need to find your way of connecting. But there's that 28-day audio program, all downloadable. You can listen to them on your iPhone or whatever you do. There's PDFs, there's spread the happiness actions, there's all sorts of fun things. As a bonus, you get a meditation library. So I have a whole library of meditations you can download. There's some interviews with Licia Morelli, who is someone who can share, and she's actually going to be live and answer some questions, but she teaches you how to use your like divine guidance to guide your life. And then Jessica Lauren DeBry talks about how she lives a really healthy lifestyle physically and with her diet that's mindful and healthy and a happy way of doing that. There's a Kundalini morning routine that I videotaped with my friend, and that's something you can watch and just to start your day. So there's just a lot of little perks like that, and I have a long list in a file of things I'm going to be adding and adding over the years. So that's all easily accessible. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. I don't see any more. It's a really, the women have said it's a really easy to access site. After you go through the 12 weeks, I have an index that you can see everything on one page. So all the meditation stuff is in one thing. All the connection stuff, rather, is in one area. All the stuff about compassion is in one area. So you're not hopping around from week to week. Because this program, it isn't just learn one thing at a time. I think of it more like a tapestry. So I'm kind of weaving these 4 elements of happiness all together in a really strong format that you can base your life on. And so because it's all woven together, week 1 isn't just about one topic. Week 1 might be actually, but after week 1, you know, I'm weaving different topics in there. It's still easy to follow, but at the end, it's all in this nice index. So you can just look up one thing. What else can I tell you about the site? There's a bonus section that has all sorts of wonderful bonuses. On all those community calls, I mean, I'll stay on as long as you need me to stay on. If you've got questions and there's something you're not understanding, or you're frustrated with something, or something's come up in your life, you know, and you just need some help with that. Those are what those group calls are about. Everyone gets a pre-individual call. So you'll get a call with me prior to starting the session or starting the whole group that is just about, what do you really want from this program? And actually, and that's a good note for me to share as well, there's a strong start plan that I will send you that has 4 videos in it, and they will help you figure out how to really manage your time, how to make it a priority, because we don't prioritize ourselves as women enough. I'm a busy single mom, and I still prioritize myself because I know the better I am to myself, the more I love myself, the better I am as a mom. So I teach you in these videos how to prioritize your time, how to prioritize the program, how to remind yourself of what you're doing, why you're doing this, and how to connect with some other women. But I also send you, there's a workbook that walks you throughout the whole program, and a guide where I show you how to put together like a binder and just stay really organized. I think that's a question. So I really, with a strong start plan, I help you to get really organized so that you can take, it's 3 months, that's nothing and compared to your whole life. You can take those 3 months to focus on you and really create a happier lifestyle. Oh, thank you. Just says, Shannon, you are such a delight. Thank you for sharing so much. Your program sounds thorough and very giving. You are welcome. It's a pleasure. And I'm sure you're a delight as well. Gosh, I'm realizing I left out some really great things with writing all this. So you'll start right off the bat with a strong start plan that will give you a really, really strong foundation for the entire 3-month program. You're a member forever and ever. The community calls are awesome. They'll totally just shift your life. You'll be more happy. You'll be happier. You'll be more confident. You'll be tapped back into your dreams and goals for life, the things you really want to do. Let me start that. You just will start living your life how you really want to, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be fulfilled. You deserve to know you're worthy, because you are. Any of the negative talk that you have going on in your head is baloney. And this is what the world will tell us. And it's not like anyone's out to get us. It's just a terrible culture we've created. and it's everywhere. And I think it's especially bad for women. And I love men as well. I think men are wonderful, but I think it's especially hard for us women that we are judged often and harshly and on things that are not important, like the size of our, thighs or waist or whatever. And it can be simple to not love who we are. Again, thank you. You're so welcome, Annetta. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for being here. I really appreciate your time. Please shoot me any more questions. I'm going to stay on until I know everyone's questions are gone. Anyway, you deserve to love yourself. All of that is baloney. I can't believe that I waited. It took me until I was in my low 40s to really figure myself out and really love who I am and feel worthy of loving who I am. And I was going to say I wish I had done it sooner, but that was my personal path. And that path brought me to where I am now with such a gift. I love what I do. I absolutely love my business. I love my work. Absolutely love working with women. And so I'm blessed to have that. And my journey brought me to that. But if you're out there listening to me right now and you're thinking the way I used to, where I don't love who I am, if you look in the mirror and think, ugh, and you're not working toward your dreams, and you don't feel confident, and you don't feel happy every day, you deserve to do that. You deserve the happiness and the fulfillment. And so I just encourage you to join us and take this leap. If you join the middle level, where you get some individual coaching and a ton of group coaching and all the lessons and all the bonuses, everything with that, it's like $2 a day for a year. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing in terms of changing your life to really finally grasp living a happy life. To me, there's nothing more important. And it's two kinds of happiness. I could have written a video about this, actually. I believe there's that day-to-day happiness, and something a lot of my practices are based in mindfulness. So one thing I do every morning when I wake up in the morning is I stay in bed for 5 minutes at least, and I just put my hand on my chest, on my heart, and I just really tune into my body and my mind and my spirit, and I feel my heart, and I breathe with attention and awareness, and I slow that down, and I just start saying thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you for my bed. Thank you that I have a warm house. Thank you that I can jump in a warm shower in a few minutes. Thank you for my kids. God, I love my kids. Thank you for the birds I can hear chirping outside. I go through that and I decide I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy today. And you know what? There are days that things happen and I feel frustrated, or I feel angry, or I feel scared, which is the basis of all of that. And now I have these tools where I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to shift myself out of this energy so that I can stay in a happy state? Do I get sad? Do I get angry? Do I get scared? You bet, I'm human. I always will. But what's so great about it is I used to lose days to that. I used to lose days of my life to feeling overwhelmed with anger or sadness or self-pity, grief, all sorts of things. And now I have a whole different perspective of me, of my emotions, of how I do life. My relationships are totally different. I am so authentic and transparent, and I went from being a pretty good mom to I am an awesome mom. I have an amazing relationship with my kids. They're 16 and 13, and it's because of this work. And I'm modeling that. I have a daughter my daughter is 16, my son is 13, but even for my son, for them to both see that mommy works hard. I was gonna say works hard. It's not hard anymore. Mommy is committed to being a happy woman, to living her dreams, to putting her purpose into the world. I mean, that's a great gift I give them. All my relationships are better with my parents, with my sisters. My friendships are so much more genuine. Just everything's better. I sleep better. I used to not sleep because I was constantly worrying and fretting about something. I was always worried about the future or something bad happening, and I sleep so much better. I'm obviously healthier. If you've been listening to the whole thing, I gave up drinking because that never worked well for me. Yeah, I can't recommend this program more. I am so proud to have been the woman who was given this task in my life you know, someone had to create this program, The Happiness of You, and it was given to me, and I'm really grateful for it. And I got to tell you, it was not easy. I mean, to pull everything together from literally a library worth of self-help books and to put it into format that's easy and friendly for women to do, to watch a video, listen to an audio, make the PDFs. It has taken me years to slowly pull it together and to finally have it out in a membership site, and to have run the beta group where I ran it with a group of women and said, what's good, what needs improving, and they gave me so many great tips. They're like, I didn't like this, and this was confusing, or this was too much, and it was fabulous because I could take their thoughts and their suggestions and say, okay, let's make it better. And they were so helpful with it. Wonderful group of women. And I just made it so much better. I'm just truly so honored that I got to create it. And I'm proud of myself for having the endurance to do it on my own. It's a little scary. And I'm just thrilled. I can't wait to get this next group of women going. I hope you'll join me. Again, that website, this is so cheesy that I'm holding up this paper, but with a live video, I wasn't sure what else to do. The website, www.greenheartmindfulness.com/happiness-of-you. If you go there, there's a ton of information. Everything I've been talking about tonight is on my website, Happiness of You. I will send this recording, it's recording right now and it'll be on YouTube, but I'll send you an email. Again, if you're not on my email list, you just need to go to the top part, Green Heart Mindfulness, put your name and email in, and then you'll get it. I'll send it out tomorrow. And you can watch this again, but on that webpage is all sorts of information. I filled it. I don't think there's much missing on there at all. You can read everything I've been sharing. You can see the 3 levels, the pricing structure, all that. I would love to connect with you. And keep in mind, if you join in the next 48-ish hours before May 2, the end of May 2nd, then I'm gonna take that whole list of women, because of course I think I've made it clear this is exclusive to women. Gonna take that whole list and choose somebody to receive 1 year of life coaching. I will do 2 women if it's a big enough group, then I can justify that as well. So I'd love to do that. I'll do 3, I'll do more, but really, if you buy before May 2nd, know that your name will be in that drawing. No matter what, if you join at all this time, the shopping cart or the doors are open until May 9 at midnight. So that's just over a week. Anyone who joins before then has that 50% off a friend. So again, if you join, and as soon as you join, you'll get an email from me automatically that explains what to do. Basically, what you'll do is you'll find a friend. Let's say you find a friend, Catherine, who's going to join. And if she agrees, yeah, I want to be a part of this, I'll send an email to Catherine with a special invoice that's 50%. And then you and Catherine can figure out how you want to take that savings. You can split it between the 2 of you or whatever. I don't know that I'll ever do this again because it's a heck of a deal. But I think it's worth it. I know this program is going to help a ton of women, so I'm excited to have you in it. Oh, I thought I had another question, but I don't. Oh, I do. Oh, I'm 31 from New Zealand. Welcome. Oh, that's awesome. Sounds awesome and definitely what I need help with at this point in my journey. I cannot afford it currently, but will continue to follow Green Heart. Good. I love the daily peace out. Oh, I'm so glad that you do. Thank you. Please stay in touch. I would love to stay in touch with you, Bex. In fact, if you think of it, send me an email. I have something I want to share with you. So Bex, if you're still on, I hope that you are, send me an email just to Shannon@greenheartmindfulness.com. Okay? So Shannon@greenheartmindfulness.com. Shoot me an email, and I just have something I want to share with you. But welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope you do stay in touch. And find a way to join us someday, because believe me, it's worth it. Why spend 1 more day, 1 more week, 1 more year not living as a really happy woman? It's not worth it. It's simply not worth it. And There are other ways I'm sure you can get all this information, but like me, it would take you like a decade. It took me a decade, and it was lonely, and it was arduous and painful. And I really did. I had so many leaks in my boat, and I fell out of my boat, and I think there were some sharks nibbling at my toes. It wasn't fun. It was all worth it because it brought me here. But I am hell-bent to make it easier for you guys. And that's what this program's all about. And I have to tell you, it's absolutely amazing. Someone asked me recently, do you feel like it's worth it? I heard another question. I'll quick say this first. Do you feel like it's worth it? And I said, honestly, I feel like I could double the price of this program. It is so worth it. So I really made it affordable for a lifetime of life coaching. I mean, if you think about it, you could let 5 years pass and still jump on these phone calls and say, hey, Shannon, such and such happened in my life, and how can I deal with my emotion of anger? And I'll be there for you. I do envision in the future probably hiring some coaches to work with me. So it will be me and some other women as well doing some coaching. Good. You're going to email me shortly. Yay. Hey, please do. Yeah, so maybe if you're looking at going into life coaching, maybe you can be working with me someday. What else can I tell you about the program? It's all starting. Oh, I didn't say this. It's all starting on May 15. So the cart closes on May 9, and I changed something just recently. I was sending the emails out on Sunday mornings, but it dawned on me that it probably would be a lot wiser to send them on Friday mornings, because that way you have Friday night, Saturday, Sunday to look at the week, get into the actual week's work, start watching watch the video, maybe print off the happy sheets, do all that stuff and kind of start working on things. Our community calls are generally on Wednesday, so it gives you all that time before you can really, get some stuff done. So it all starts on May 15, and before that, I'll be sending you the Strong Start plan, so you can start working on how can you have a really strong start to this program, and you can start getting yourself organized, think about your time management. Like I suggest a binder, because in the binder you can put your workbook, you can put any note pages that you have, your happy sheets, like all that stuff can be in your workbook, in this binder, and then you can keep it all really organized. And then as you go back to the membership site over, months and years, you can just print things off, make notes of things, and just keep tucking in that binder. What I want it to be is something that when you're an adorable little old happy lady, that you'll have this binder and your great grandkids are going to be like, what's that, Grandma? And you're going to be like, this is my happy binder. And, I'll meet up with you for a cup of tea somewhere wonderful, like Bali. Does that sound good? Where else? Montevideo. I have a real draw to go there someday. Or you can just come to my hometown and we'll be little old ladies together who are still so happy that we're smiling ear to ear, and we'll have our happy binders. So we'll keep you really organized. You're going to love the women in this group. Lifetime membership. I love that I'm doing that. I love that I kicked the advice to the curb from some business advisors. Hanging with my friend Shelly. Thanks for sharing tonight. Enjoyed it. Love you, cuz. Dee Dee. Oh, Dee Dee. I love you too. I'm so glad you joined me. I love my cousin Dee Dee. I've got wonderful cousins. So what else can I tell you? Oh, the lifetime. I love that I just kind of skipped the advice from business people saying, you know what, I just don't think you should do a lifetime. And I'm like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want this to really help as many women as it can help. So you will get your own little username, and you'll get a password that you can change. You'll get an automated password, but you can change it to whatever you like, and you just can use this resource forever. It is my honor to invite you to this wonderful group. I guarantee you will not regret it. There is, on that note, a 30-day refund policy for level 2 and 3. There isn't for level 1 because you get everything at once. But for level 2 or 3, if actually 28 days pass, or the first 4 weeks, it's a 12-week program. If the first 4 weeks pass and you're thinking, then you just have to show me you've done the work. you've really committed and tried. And then there is a refund minus an administrative fee. So I strongly, strongly believe in this program, because otherwise I would not offer it lifetime. I would not offer the refund. Like, I really believe in it. I don't think I'll ever use that refund policy, because it's just a fabulous program. That was one thing. The women in the beta group were like, oh my gosh, there is so much here. And not in a bad way. Not like, I can't deal with this, there's too much here. Like, there's so much to help me. This is awesome. Like, if I'm, I can figure out my emotions. I can work on loving myself. I can work on meditation and prayer and finding compassion. And the B box, I have to tell you, the B box is awesome. I really love the B box. I love that idea. When I came up with that idea, I thought, I'm crazy to do this. I have to take a sip of water. Hold on. I thought I was nuts to do this, because imagine this. I have a stack of boxes in my living room. My son, he's so sweet. I bring home, I buy them, and then he folds them all up. So I have a big stack in my living room, but think about this. I have to assemble them all, and I put some pretty paper in there, of course. It's all about presentation. And then I put the goodies, and you will love the goodies. And then I package it up, and I put tape around it just to make sure it stays closed and waterproof. And then there's something inside that takes some special time from me to you. It's very personal. And then I have to address them and return address them and bring them to the post office and get them all shipped. I mean, I got to tell you, it's time consuming. And there was part of me that thought, are you kidding me? Like, you really want to do that, Shannon? And I was like, yeah, I really do. Because I love that. I mean, I think technology is fabulous, and I love the texting and the emails and all that. But that personal touch, when you get like a letter handwritten from someone, it shows up in your mailbox with a stamp. Isn't that so great? I love that. And so you're getting a whole lot more than a little letter with a stamp. You're getting a whole package, a box shipped to you, and it has really great things in it. I'm very excited about it. Let's see if I have anything more. All right, so you join. The most popular one is level 2. That's the one that is mostly group coaching, and then there's a session at the very start to get you started. Level 3 is the one where there's a lot of individual work with me. We're going to be either on Skype or on email a lot. Or I'm sorry, Skype or telephone, really doing some deep coaching. Those are 50 to 60 minute sessions, and I will work your girlfriend. I mean, we'll do a little chit chatting, but we're really going to get in there and make changes in your life, positive changes in your life. So the middle program, now I lost my thought. The middle program is most popular. And like I said, it averages out to about $2 a day over a year, and you get it for a lifetime. So you do the math. It's nothing. And the fact that you can bring a friend. In fact, there's a testimonial on my website from Barb, and she did it with a good friend, and she said it was so much fun because they actually met. They live near each other, and I believe they met for coffee every week and kind of brought their stuff and talked about things, and there's things that I really have you thinking about. That's what this is about. If you're really going to do some personal growth, so they would get together for tea or coffee and lunch, and they would talk every week, and it sounds so fun. I think that's a great idea. So if you want to bring a friend, this is the time to do it because of that 50% off. You know what I was going to say? I was saying this to somebody. If I could create a pill, and even a series of pills, like you take a pill every day for a month, and all of a sudden, like, all your stuff is done and gone, and you're just like happy woman all the time, I will be honest with you, I would not create that pill. I would not do it. Because we've become this society of make everything easy. And I get that. I mean, there's things that I like, my cuisine art that chops up my vegetables when I make soup and stuff. That's handy. But there are some things that are meant to take us some time because they're so meaningful. They're so important. I mean, to be able to look at myself, especially when I was looking at my drinking, that sucked. I'll be honest with you. That was not fun to look at. And for me to look at that and go, what have I been doing and why? And and the shame and all sorts of yuckiness. But what happened was I was able to really be honest with myself and with some other people in my life, and realize I needed to make some amends and really close that part of my life. And you know what I found with that part? I found out that I had to love myself. Instead of loathing myself, I had to love myself, because I can't help that I'm wired this way. Alcohol has never affected me like it does other people. And I just had to accept that part of me. And if I hadn't taken the time to do that, I would have missed out on so much depth. So I wouldn't create that pill. In fact, I wouldn't support it. I think there's so much meaning and purpose in taking our time to go through this, albeit having it take me 10 years, that is not necessary. Give me 3 months of your life, and I promise you, we will make some tremendous gains. You will love it. But at 10 years, that was hard. That was long. There were some dark times in there, I will tell you. And I do share a lot of myself in my coaching and in the Happiness of You program. Nothing to overtake the beauty of you and your journey, but I share, and you'll get to know a whole different level of me, because I'm really uncomfortable because when I'm vulnerable and I share my stuff, I know other women feel safe. And you also can probably catch on that I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, I've been there. I've been in the trenches with my son's passing away and facing grief, with dealing with facing an addiction, an issue with alcohol, with dealing with sexual abuse, being raped when I was 18, and 20 years. I never healed that, and it wreaked havoc on my life. Went through a really tough divorce. So isolated through my divorce. It was so much more painful and lonely than anyone in the world can understand. And a lot of assumptions made about me, a lot of very, very untrue things that hurt greatly because I would hear about them. And all the ramifications of the divorce, financial crisis that was really scary. And you know what? All of that was so purposeful. And so I know when women meet with me, they're like, you do get it. I have not had, the pampered life of everything's been a bowl of cherries. And so I don't judge. You come to me, I've talked to women about all sorts of things. Everything's obviously confidential. And even in the group, anything that's said there's an agreement that you agree to. And it says anything shared is in the group. So everything's confidential. But I've had women share some pretty intense experiences and things that the world would judge. And I just don't judge. I don't judge because I've been through enough. And there's just no point in it. There's no point in it. Why judge anybody? We all have our life struggles, and we're all wonderful people. When we are working from our soul, we are all beautiful, wonderful people, worthy of all the joys in life. I'm going to check the questions. All right, I'm not getting any more. Do you have any more questions? Otherwise, I can let you go. What time is it? Oh, it's 8:52 here, and I'm running out of battery. I'm going to reach down. Plug this in before I lose my connection. So any other questions? Feel free to type them in. I now pulled it out of the wall, so I need to bend down a second. Plug this back in. There we go. There. Are there any other questions? I'm trying to think of anything else I can tell you. You'll love the women. I love the women. I have some other things coming up too that are going to build on Happiness of You. There's a program I'm building called Happiness of Now that will, pretty sure, only be offered to Happiness of You women, because it builds on it and take you even farther. It's awesome. And I have another way of building community in person that I'm going to be offering probably later this summer. So I've got some other great things coming up as well. So I'd love to start getting to know you. Joining Happiness of You is a great start. I know you'd really enjoy it. It's such a user-friendly website and wonderful women, everything at your fingertips in terms of really learning more about yourself and being a happy, happy woman. And you deserve that. Every single person does. And not just women, men do. I'm like of the mind that animals do. I mean, I just love life. I don't even kill spiders anymore. I have a, in fact, this is a funny story. No, I shouldn't share it. It's about my daughter. I have a cup that I use to capture spiders, and then I throw the whole cup out my front door because as much as I don't want to kill them, they kind of freak me out. Anyway, let's just say my daughter was using that cup the other day, and I reminded her. She was not happy because it's just for spiders, and she must have forgotten. It's a big blue cup. Anyway, I throw the whole cup out the door, and I just think the spiders, at least they don't die. They go on a little roller coaster ride of sorts. But so I just think all of life deserves to be happy. I think the forest deserves to be happy, and the squirrels and the birds and all people, men and women alike. So even though this program's just for us ladies, when I think about the whole world being filled with happiness, it's a great place. And I believe we can get there. I'm a Pollyanna of believing in the world and peace and the goodness of people. I think we've mucked it up, but I really believe in us. I know we can get far. And I am determined to do my part. And happiness of you is a big part of my part. Because the more, here's the other thing. I'm starting to babble, and then I swear I'm going to let you go. I really believe in women. I love men. I love dating men. Not right now, I'm not dating, but when I start dating again, I will date men. But I love the energy of women. I think we are fabulous. When I get together with a group of women, like a retreat or even just a dinner with a woman or two or a group of us, I just love our conversations. I love our energy. I love our laughter. I love how when we really sit down with each other, we meet each other right where we are. We make space for each other. There's something really awesome about women, and we need more of that feminine energy in the world. We really do. And we need some men to buck up and tap into their femininity, just like we need to tap into our masculinity. And I really believe that with the happiness of you, that I'm making a difference in the world in that way, because the more of you women who are happy, and not living the life that like I used to live, where I didn't even like myself, the better we are for everybody. You're going to be a better mom, a better wife or partner or daughter or coworker or employee or boss or whatever roles you have. You're going to be better because you're going to be happy and loving who you are. And it's amazing. Like when Valerie said the shifts, because I had an honor, and she says it there's an interview with her on that page, Happiness of You, on my website. So you can watch that interview. It's about 12 minutes long. And she says that in here, where she and I worked together one-on-one for quite a while. And she says I brought her out of 40 years of darkness. And that's an honor. I mean, that she says that is one of the biggest compliments I could ever receive. And she wondered if the Happiness of You could really help her. And because we had worked so much together, and she called me halfway through it and went, "Oh my God, I can't believe how much I'm getting out of this program. I've already worked with you and went from such heavy darkness to light. And now I'm halfway through this 12-week program." And she's like, "Oh my God, it's so awesome." So that was really cool. I heard another question. Oh, this is Annetta. I love your name, by the way. That's really pretty. I don't think I've ever heard that. Annetta. It's really gorgeous. I believe in what you're saying. Yes. Yay. So do I. I mean, can't you just feel it? I don't know if any of you out there are involved in some of the women entrepreneurs around the world. Like Marie Forleo is a big name, and I learned a lot from Marie. But there's so many women. Marianne Williamson. I love Marianne Williamson, and Gabrielle Bernstein is teaching a lot of that Course in Miracles. And there's just some strong, strong leadership. Chris Carr, Natalie Lucier, just these women, and there's tons, there's so many more. And they're just such strong leaders, and they're stepping into this power. And the tithing that's going on, I absolutely love that. I love to see the purposeful tithing going on. In fact, that's another thing I forgot. Oh my gosh. I was trying not to look at my notes when I was speaking earlier, and I should have just looked at them because I'm forgetting things. When you become a member of Happiness of You, I will give 10% to one of two charities, or I'll give 5% to each. But there are two things I'm passionate about helping bring an end to in our world. And one is the lack of clean water. Breaks my heart. I really like what Charity Water is doing in the world. You can check them out at, I think it's charitywater.org. And I love what they're doing. And so your purchase will provide 10% to Charity Water or 10% to the other cause that's driving me crazy. And it just has got to end, and it's human trafficking. I can't believe that it is one of the biggest growing industries and money makers right now in the world. And it's big in the United States. There's people who don't think it is. It's big. In fact, the hub, I believe, is not far from the state of Michigan, and it's sick. And I'm devoted to helping put an end to that. So when you become a member, 10% of your purchase will go directly to one or both of those organizations. I have chills. The more I can give, the better. It's heart-wrenching. I heard another comment. Annetta, again, we do have some mutual friends, and you are as strong in video as all those you mentioned. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. That really does. I'm getting a little choked up now. Thank you. It has been a hell of a journey, I will tell you. There were a couple times in my midlife journey that I hit some really, really low points. When I say I fell out of the boat, I fell out of the boat. And you can probably catch on to what I mean. It was tough. It was really tough. And I will tell you that if it wasn't for my amazing children, I don't know that I would still be here. I just hit some dark points. And I'm so grateful that I made it through that. And all the things that I've learned, through that, and that I've put together in this program, but the self-help books and the therapy and the time in AA and just all that stuff brought together. So thank you for saying that, Annetta. That means a lot to me because, yeah, I'm now 46, almost 47. So 17 years ago or 16 years ago, if you had told me that I was strong or beautiful or wise, I would have just been like, no way. No way, sister, not at all. I had the self-esteem of a gnat, I swear. People thought I felt good, like I said earlier, I knew how to play the part and put on the makeup and the clothes and the smile, but inside I was just, it was not good. So, all right, are there any more questions? Otherwise, I've had you for an hour and a half. I don't want to dominate your whole night. I really appreciate, I wish I knew how to screenshot this on my iPad because those comments are so kind. Thank you, everyone, for being with me. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes and see if there's anything else. I've really enjoyed my time. I wish I could see you. And maybe someday I can afford something fancier where I can actually have your beautiful faces up too. Because it's kind of weird. I can see myself right down. Kind of, but it's nice to know that you're out there and the positive feedback and that you're giving me your time. If you do have any questions, obviously, go to this website that I'm putting up on my fancy thing, greenheartmindfulness.com/happiness of you with the little dashes. And you can learn all about the program. If you have any questions, you can email me at Shannon@greenheartmindfulness or happyu@greenheartmindfulness. And when I put this video that we're making together right now, it's going to be on YouTube. I'll put some links on there. I can do hyperlinks. So if you watch it again, or if you're thinking about inviting a friend, just send her the video and I'll put some hyperlinks right on there so you can tap right to these places I'm sending to you. But if you have any questions, please drop me an email and I will, I'll answer you within 24 hours for sure. I'm a little tired tonight, but I'll get to it. Just know that you have an excellent presence and wonderful information to impart, Annetta. Thank you. Annetta, thank you so much. Really, you're deeply touching my heart. I really appreciate it. It sounds like you know a lot of some of the people I know as well, and so you probably know how much effort I've put into pulling this all together and having it be a program on a membership site and all that. it's been a lot of work, but it's been a labor of love for sure. And yeah, I'm really excited to keep putting it out in the world. And it's just going to get better and better. Absolutely. In fact, that book I was just reading with Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap, Taking the Leap, something like that. There's definitely some stuff I'm going to add to Happiness of You, actually insert into the Lift Your Limits program, because it was some good stuff. And it's just about letting go. God, I'm just babbling now. Please, no, if it gets down to 0 viewers, I'll just go off. But I've had women find stuff back from in utero, and even like the first 2 or 3 years of their life. Like, we'll do this process that I do in Happiness of You called Lift Your Limits. And like I said, when I do that with a one-on-one client, you can read about it on my website. It's $500 just for that when I do it one-on-one. But I've had women go through this process and they're like, oh my God, when I was 2 years old, blah, 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 blah. And they have this memory come back, and this experience or a pattern that happened in their home or something happened, and it's been staying with them. And these women will be like, you know, in their 40s or 50s or even their 20s, younger. And they're like, I didn't realize I've been holding on to this since I was an infant, since I was a toddler. And this whole time I've been thinking that I'm stupid, or I'm worthless, or I'm unlovable. And they start having this light bulb go on, this is BS. I'm totally not stupid. I'm lovable. I'm wonderful. I'm worthy of all this. And that's where the magic happens, because that's when then I teach you, what do you do with that? What do you do when you find that deep life limiting belief? How do you get rid of it? And that's the awesome part. It's so freeing. It's amazing how much sometimes we can be holding on to that pain. But anyway, this Gay Hendricks book took what I do with Lift Your Limits, and I just was like, wow, I can take these concepts that he just taught me and weave it into Lift Your Limits, and it's going to be even more powerful. And I got to tell you, that is just an amazing process, just to free you from, you know, that stuff you don't need to be carrying, because it's all lies. It's all ego and baloney. Pardon me, I'm so thirsty. And then, like I mentioned, a copy of my book. I will tell you this. So I wrote a book in 2012 called Year of Gratitude. And it's been an ebook since then. And I had the sweetest, most wonderful thing happen in December. I started an Indiegogo campaign. It's like I mentioned, I'm a single mom. And I really want to get it in tangible format, because Year of Gratitude is about what I call transformational gratitude. It's taking gratitude in order to transform your life and help you heal your life. And it's a whole year-long book/journal. And so it really needs to be in a tangible format so you can write in it. And I raised that money so quickly. There was a morning, I think it was around December 5, where I just sat here at my kitchen table sobbing, because I was like, I can't believe so many people donated money and I made almost 200% of my goal. I gotta switch a sec. I'm so uncomfortable with my bum. So I got the money and I'm having it published through Balboa, and it should be out. So right now it's an ebook, but it should be out hopefully by late summer. And that's something that you'll get a copy of with this program as well. But it's a great book. It might change the title. I'm playing around with a couple titles. And then I've got another book, 2 other books in the work. In fact, someone said, you need to write a book about the 5 layers of happiness. And I was like, ooh, that's a good idea. Because there's a lot you can do with those 5 layers. When you focus on the closest layers, it's so nice. I just find happiness all the time. And you know, I don't have the things that people say you need. I don't have a love relationship. In fact, I won't say what's going through my mind right now, because you would laugh so hard, but this is going on YouTube publicly. So I don't have a love relationship. I don't have a man in my life, which is fine. But, you know, it's not like I'm rolling in the money. I have a very simple home. I miss my kids. I wish I had my kids every day, but they need to be with their dad. He's a great dad. But it's not like I have this perfect life where everything's just as the world would say. Like, if you have these things, you're going to be super happy. I don't, but I have happiness. And that's because of all the things that I teach in the happiness of you. I live a really happy life. I'm very fulfilled. I love my life. Absolutely love it. Even with all those bumps you've heard about. See, Brene Brown needs to, yeah, I need to meet Brene. She would be so proud of, yeah, I don't know how vulnerable I am. Let's see, anything else? I didn't hear any pops. All right, I'm gonna assume I'm not getting any more questions and we're down, the viewers are slowly dwindling off and it's 9, it's almost 10 after 9. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I love you, and I know that might sound dorky, but I just try to love everybody. And I know you are a wonderful person because everyone is. And I would love to help you find that deeper layer of happiness, that day-to-day happiness, but also that happiness that you can tap into at any time. That happiness that is an innate part of your soul that everyone has and that you are completely worthy of. I would love to help you find that. I'd love to have you become a member of Happiness of You, a lifelong member. If you have any questions, you can email me. I'll put links in this video so you can find them again, and I will be emailing that recording. So if you haven't received this via email, make sure you go to www, obviously, Green Heart Mindfulness, and that's mindfulness with one L. It's only one L, MINDFULNESS, mindfulness.com. So greenheartmindfulness.com. Put your name and email in there, and then you'll receive a copy of this with the links and everything. But I'd love to have you join me. It's a wonderful program. You could be the winner of a year worth of life coaching, and you can also bring a friend for 50% off all through May 9. So I hope you'll consider those things. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for hanging out with me on my very first Google Hangout. It's been fun. So anything else? I don't want to hang up on you, but I'm not seeing any more questions, comments, thoughts. You guys are awesome to stay here with me this long. I think I'm out of things to say. All right, if you need anything, email me, Shannon@greenheartmindfulness.com or happyyou, as in HAPPYYOU, at greenheartmindfulness.com as well. And I promise to email you as quickly as I can. After this live broadcast, I'm going to find something to eat because I'm starving. And so it might be tomorrow, but I will reply to you as soon as possible. Bex, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, much love to everybody. I will send you this recording. I'm going to stop the broadcast now. I don't want to cut anyone off unless there's anything else. I'm not hearing any more pops. All right, have a great evening or day wherever you are in the world. I send you much love. I send you much happiness. I have to check that one now too. Thank you, Shannon. Edna, you're welcome. Thank you. I think that's the Edna I know. I miss you. I miss you. Unless that's a different Edna. I love that name too. All right, bye everybody. Have a great night or day or morning. I hope to see you again soon. I hope to see you in the happiness of you. All right, bye-bye.